ministries. And the decision of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee to close all commercial activities in the Sultanate Governorates at night comes into force today. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq received a cable of thanks from His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah in reply to a cable of greetings on his country's National Day. His Majesty the Sultan also received a cable of thanks from His Majesty King Vajiralongkorn of Thailand in reply to a cable of greetings on his country's National Day. A session of talks was held at the Minister of Defense headquarters in Muaskar al-Murtafa between His Highness Sayyid Shihab bin Tariq bin Taymour al-Said, Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs, and His Excellency Ben Wallace, Secretary of State for Defense of the United Kingdom, who is currently visiting the Sultanate. At the beginning of the meeting, His Highness the Deputy Prime Minister for Defense Affairs welcomed His Excellency the guest and his accompanying delegation, wishing him a pleasant stay in the Sultanate. For his part, His Excellency the guest thanked His Highness for the warm reception and generous hospitality that he received, and the accompanying delegation affirming him of the depth of the historical friendship between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom and its importance in supporting the march of the close relations between the two countries. During the official talks, sessions areas of existing cooperation between the defense ministries of the two countries and means to enhance them were discussed, and viewpoints were exchanged on a number of matters of common interest of the two friendly countries. His Excellency Lieutenant General Sultan bin Mohammed Al Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received His Excellency Ben Wallace, Secretary of State for Defense of the United Kingdom, and his accompanying delegation. His Excellency Lieutenant General, the Minister of the Royal Office, welcomed the British Minister of Defense, stressing the depth of the established historical relations with the friendly United Kingdom and the development they witnessed in many areas due to the attention paid by the leadership in the two countries. For his part, the British Secretary of State for Defense extended his thanks and appreciation to the Sultanate and its role in regional and international levels, and the Sultanate's role in consolidating friendship and understanding relations. The good historical relations that bind the two friendly countries were reviewed during the interview, in addition to a number of issues of common interest. Vice Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis al-Raisi, Chief of Staff of the Sultan's Armed Forces, also received at Al-Murtafa camp His Excellency Ben Wallace, Secretary of State for Defense of the United Kingdom, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, cordial talks and views were exchanged on a number of issues of common interest were also discussed. His Excellency Dr. Mahad bin Saeed Ba'wain, Minister of Labour, issued a decision declaring Thursday the 27th of Rajab 1442 Hijri, corresponding to the 11th of March 2021, an official leave for employees at the ministries, public authorities and other departments of the state administrative apparatus and workers at establishments of private sector on the occasion of the anniversary of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. The decision allowed the employers and employees to agree on compensating this holiday if necessity arises. We seize this blessed occasion to extend greetings to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, praying to Allah the Almighty to protect His Majesty, grant him good health, happiness and long life, and for the return of these and similar occasions on His Majesty for many years to come, and the Omani people and our dear country further progress and welfare under His Majesty's wise leadership, and all Muslims' welfare and blessings. The decision of the Supreme Committee of the COVID-19 to close all commercial activities in the Sultanate's governorates between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. from today, 4th of March to Saturday, 20th of March of 2021 comes into force today. However, The authorities have confirmed that the closure decision will not prevent the movement of individuals and vehicles. The closure includes restaurants, cafes, inside tourist facilities and home delivery services, but excludes gas stations, health institutions and private pharmacies. Within the context of the Education Ministry's application of the blended learning system, the Supreme Committee approved the continuation of online learning in government schools from Sunday 7th of March to Thursday 11th of March 2021. During this period, an assessment will be made in light of epidemiological updates in the Sultanate. The Supreme Committee called upon all to avoid gatherings, noting that assembling proved to be scientifically associated with infection cases in societies at a large scale. The Minister of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 142,896, while the total number of deaths reached 1,583. The total recovered cases reached 133,491, which is 93.4% of the total recovery rate. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients reached 197, among which 80 are in the intensive care units. Amid sharp increase of COVID-19 infection in various wilayas of Oman, a call for strictly following the preventive measures has become a must to stop the spread of the pandemic, protect the community and the national economy. The next stage is crucial to reverse the COVID situation in the country. The community members are required to be more observant to the Supreme Committee's preventive measures. Infection and ICU high admission rates resurfaced after the community have become more relaxed about meeting COVID health requirements in their places of work or public areas. The government has taken a tougher call by issuing a 2-week suspension of commercial activities during the night hours to minimize the spread of the pandemic during commercial active hours. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. The West Souk, an ancient traditional market in Nizwa, awaits for commercial activities in full swing. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Oman oil price today increased by $1.68 to reach $63.04 per barrel. Oman crude oil average price for the current month reached $54.78 per barrel, an increase by $4.79 compared to delivery price in February. In line with the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources mission to support farmers, the ministry supplied farmers with wilayas of Rustaq and Awabi in the Governorate of South Al-Batina with 84 multi-purpose tilling machines. Before handing over the farming equipment, the Directorate of Agricultural Development in Rustaq offered the farmers a demonstration and instructions on how to use the tilling machines. Farmers are expected to have a better harvest by using these tilling machines, which will enable them to plough their lands in a more efficient manner. The ministry also offers on a continuous basis consultations to farmers on how to improve the quality and quantity of their harvests. And now to Nizwa, the West Souk is an ancient traditional market that is distinguished by its unique architectural character and its strategic location in the Wilaya of Nizwa. However, this souk is looking forward to restoring its prior commercial activity after most of its merchants have left it despite being restored and renewed. More details in the following report.
The West Souk, or as it is locally called Souk al-Gharbi, is a traditional market in the Wilaya of Nizwa, adjacent to Nizwa Fort. The gate of this archaeological market opens every morning. However, the scene looks unusual. The shops are closed and stillness prevails in the place.
The souk is very old. Before the Islam, it is the central souk of the interior, and maybe in the Oman, because the Nazwa is the capital of Oman in the past time. In the past time, all the camel come through the door and go past from another door. They brought everything because there was no vehicles, no anything except camels and donkey to brought things from other places to Nazwa. In 94, the souk they constructed again, and all people get out from the souk, and they get it another shop out of the place. They stay out of the souk, and no people come here again. All shopkeepers are staying out of the souk.
Of the 86 shops in this market, only 6 have remained in operation, run by elderly merchants who work hard to preserve the spirit and memory of the place.
In the souk, from 86 shops, just only about 6 shops are open. And we are sitting here, nobody can come, except the people who come as a visit, just to see. We need those people who are selling all things outside. They are coming in the souk. Then maybe the souk it will come more than this time.
The souk used to be full of the bustle of vendors, traders, and buyers. The corridors hold memories of the auctioning, the negotiation, and the bargaining that took place among these shops. The shops here are awaiting the moment when their doors are unlocked once again to prosper and restore the proper economic activity of the West Souk. صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, ولاية of نزوة الداخلية, Governorate.
For a short period of time, looking at this particular report, one tends to travel on a special journey of history. So thank you for that report. The head of the United Nations Atomic Watchdog Agency said today that Iran has agreed to sit down with international technical experts investigating the discovery of uranium particles at 3 undeclared sites in the country. The move comes after months of frustration at Iran's lack of credible explanation. The agreement came as 3 of the remaining signatories to the 2015 nuclear deal with Iran, France, Germany and Britain backed off the idea of a resolution criticizing Iran for its decision to start limiting access to International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi told reporters in Vienna that Iran has finally welcomed and accepted his initiative to engage in a focused and systematic effort aimed at attempting to clarify a number of outstanding issues. A first meeting will take place in Iran at the beginning of April.
Certain material that exists in Iran which were not declared.
The head of the World Health Organization's Europe office said today that COVID-19 cases across the 53-country region increased by 9% over the last week, snapping a 6-week run of declines, and insisted countries need to get back to focusing on suppressing the spread of the virus. Dr. Hans Klug said more than 1 million cases were tallied over the last week in the region, and the resurgence was particularly focused in Central and Eastern Europe, although some Western European countries have noticed increases too. Alluding to solidarity shown by some European countries that have taken in patients from hard-hit neighbors, Klug said that over a year into the pandemic, their health systems should not be in this situation. He called for more measures to stop the spread of the virus and urged countries to accelerate the vaccine rollout. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. A session of talks is held between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom related to aspects of enhancing the existing cooperation between their defences ministries. And the decision of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee to close all commercial activities in the Sultanate's governorates at night comes into force today. And finally, to end this news bulletin, here's a message from the news desks. We would like to remind you to be alert, implement preventive measures wherever you are. A good effort one can make is to save one another from the second wave. History tells that the second wave is more dangerous than the first. So protect yourself, your family, the community, and all people. Stay safe and good night.
نتحلى بالإيمان، ندفع بالأمل، بهمة نسر للعمل، حريصين بدون إهمال. وقف، باعد، على المرض لا تساعد. نسعى في دروب الحياة، ما بيننا مسافات آمنة. نشوف بعين الرضا ونحلم بخير لبكرة. ناخذها بالتزام لجل نفرح في قادم الأيام. في ضحكاتنا في قلوبنا قناعة بالمقصود، اليوم ودوم.
كنتم خير عون لنا، حملتم المسؤولية على عاتقكم في أشد الأوقات صعوبة. كانت سلامة مجتمعكم هاجسكم الأول، واليوم أنتم أولويتنا، وحمايتكم مسؤوليتنا. تطعيمكم حماية لكم لتبقوا معنا، ويبقى حضوركم يمدنا بالصحة.